Kuzambo, warmest welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, Kipchu, our top stories of the week. Her Royal Highness Princess Sonam graces convocation of National Law School of India University. Budget ready for multidisciplinary hospital, says Health Minister. And research proposes new solutions to address growing unemployment concerns. Her Royal Highness Princess Sonam graced the 31st annual convocation of the National Law School of India University at Bangalore in India on 26th August. Her Royal Highness was in India on a 4-day visit at the invitation of the Government of India.
Her Royal Highness graced the convocation as the chief guest. The National Law School of India University, or NLSIU, is a public law school. The convocation ceremony was attended by the Chief Justice of India, Justices of the Supreme Court of India, and Judges of the High Court of India, Chairperson of the Bar Council of India and its members, ministers and officials of the state government of Karnataka, and other dignitaries from India's legal fraternity. As the chief guest, Her Royal Highness also addressed around 2,000 guests. In the convocation address, Her Royal Highness highlighted the important role legal professionals can play as social engineers in society and urged the graduating students to live by the values of justice, service and wisdom in their professional lives.
His Majesty, my father, the fourth king, believed that as people need good doctors when they are sick, they need justice when they are wronged. To ensure a just, equitable and sustainable society, he introduced the visionary framework of gross national happiness, or GNH. The GNH framework guided by GNH, Our Majesties the Kings have demonstrated that justice, service and wisdom are not mere ideals, but pillars that sustain a harmonious nation. Their profound service and commitment to justice is what makes them the true social engineers of Bhutan.
Her Royal Highness also congratulated the Indian Space and Research Organization for the historic Chandrayaan-3 soft landing, taking India to the moon.
I would like also today to take the opportunity to offer my congratulations to ISRO and to India for his absolutely historic soft landing on the moon, on the lunar South Pole. It was an amazing event to watch, and we celebrated together with you. So thank you so much for listening to me today. Dhanyavad, Kashtule.
The National Law School of India University is considered a torchbearer in legal education in India and is one of the partner universities of the Jimmy Singh Wangchuk School of Law. Her Royal Highness also held an interactive session with the students. Her Royal Highness and the Chief Justice of India also inaugurated the university's new library yesterday. During the visit, Her Royal Highness met senior officials of Government of India and the judiciary and representatives of leading law firms and companies in India. This is Devika Pradhan for BBS News.
Health experts say it is harder for men to express their emotions compared to women. This has led to high suicide rates in men. Data maintained by the Royal Bhutan Police show more males dying by suicide compared to females in the past 4 years. Psychiatrists at the National Referral Hospital say when men attempt suicide, their methods are more extreme compared to women.
In 2022 and 2021, out of the 212 cases of suicide recorded by the RBP, 144 were men. Similarly, in 2020 and 2019, there were 209 suicide cases with almost 140 men. According to the World Health Organization, more than twice as many males die due to suicide compared to females. Dr. Dambar Kumar Nirola, a psychiatrist with the National Referral Hospital, says men tend to suffer silently.
Women are more forthcoming when it comes to seeking help, whereas men could also be suffering, but the thing is many men tend to show that they are mentally strong. That's the perception that we have. Everybody think, oh, you are a man, you should be strong and all that thing. So instead of seeking help, they might resort to sort of peer support, in which case sometimes they indulge in alcohol or drug or something like that, just to self-medicate themselves, and they may not seek help in time.
According to a BBC News report, women are more likely to be diagnosed with depression and make suicide attempts. However, men are more likely to die by suicide. Renew, an organization which provides counseling services free of cost for all family members affected by domestic violence and gender-based violence, say, despite the organization being open to all genders, men rarely come to seek help. Renew says the men who do not come to seek support are mostly those who suffer economic abuse at home.
So it's mainly one is economic abuse, and followed by Anila, emotional abuse. Renew Labdalu, they think that no, it's only for women image lomba, because the last acronym it itself stands for Women's Iduba, and that's a wrong perception imela. Renew Labdalu, it's not only for women, it's also for men as well. And there is no gender biasness or gender discrimination when it comes to Renew.
This year, 6 men sought help from Renew along with 147 females, including 4 minors. Meanwhile, Dr. Nirola suggests not to ignore anyone you know may be suffering mentally. Moreover, he said to empathize with them rather than sympathizing. If you or anyone you know is in need of support, you can contact the PEMA Secretariat in their toll-free hotline number 1010 or 112. You can also get an appointment to see counselors in hospitals across the country. Singidema, PBS News.
With hospitals across the country short of medical professionals, a growing number of individuals are turning to medical services offered by private diagnostic centers and unauthorized clinics. People say they are visiting the private center for faster and more efficient healthcare solutions. BBS talked to several residents in Thimphu who said there is a need for more authorized private clinics in the country.
Considering the long waiting hours and a lack of health workers at the National Referral Hospital, many people choose to visit the authorized private diagnostic centers and other unauthorized clinics.
I came from Gelevu for medical checkup to Thimphu Hospital for the endoscopy. Appointment was on 4th of October, so it is too long to me to wait for that. So I opt for private diagnostic service checkup. So it is very easier, faster and reliable.
We do not regret availing ourselves of the medical services from private clinics. The services are worth the money, it's faster. And I think it will be very convenient for everyone if there are more private clinics like this in every district.
It is challenging for us to wait in line, and sometimes we cannot meet the doctors at the hospitals. It would be better if the government could either authorize more private clinics or improve the services and number of the staff at hospitals.
According to the Health Ministry, patients should not avail themselves of the services from unauthorized private clinics due to health safety concerns. Recently, the ministry issued a notification after rumors circulated about patients visiting unauthorized private clinics in the capital.
This is basically to do with in regards to the safety of our public. Since these unauthorized clinics are not being validated by any agencies, there are high risks in terms of the qualification of the person itself. And the other is the quality of the equipment and as well as the services that is being provided by those clinics.
The Health Ministry is in the process of drafting the Bhutan Healthcare Services Regulations, which includes guidelines to improve both public and private health services. Officials said that the ministry has plans to authorize more diagnostic centers and private clinics with priority in dental services. According to the ministry, for now, they do not have any rules regarding private clinics and diagnostic centers. Once the regulation is finalized, the ministry plans to strictly monitor the operation of unauthorized private clinics. The ministry has no record on the number of unauthorized private clinics. However, there are 9 private diagnostic centers in the country. Namgidim, PBS News.
The Health Ministry says it has finalized a budget of 5 billion yutam to start multidisciplinary hospital services. The services will mainly include kidney and health transplant surgeries and advanced cancer treatment. The Health Minister says the services will be provided from the National Referral Hospital. The Minister added that the fund has been managed from international donors and development partners.
Once the multidisciplinary hospital starts providing services, the country will no longer have to refer patients abroad for treatment. Currently, the ministry spends about 1 billion yutam annually for the referral and treatment of patients abroad. According to the minister, it is mostly kidney patients that are referred outside, followed by cancer and heart patients.
We faced a lot of challenges during the pandemic. Hospitals in foreign countries did not allow our patients to travel to their countries. We had no specialists here who could treat these patients.
The minister also added that to build the competency of the country's healthcare workers, the ministry will hire experts from abroad to train local doctors in heart and kidney transplant and cancer treatment.
Male Rajbidi ki doctor desu na moshimle ngachi ki doctor desu na train be te load.
We will have doctors from Rajbedi Hospital come and train our doctors here. Through collaborations with their doctors, we will ensure that our doctors receive hands-on training and continuous guidance to build self-sufficient health specialists.
Ane be chinshimle te khongi male continuous be guide be digi be te ngachi ki nagi program di ane be build be ni session be ila.
According to the Prime Minister's office, the initiative is not part of the 5-year plans. It is also not certain as to when the hospital will be ready to provide services. Namgidim, PBS News.
The National Referral Hospital performed cochlear implant surgeries for the first time in February this year. 3 patients underwent this surgery and they said their lives have improved after the surgery. A cochlear implant is a small, complex electronic device that helps improve hearing for people with severe hearing loss. However, the patients said they are facing difficulties, especially when they are in a crowd, as the implant has a microphone which picks up all sounds.
A mother of 6, Kinzang Hamu from Tebisa in Punakha, is one of the patients. She said she became deaf in 2021 and since then she had difficulty communicating. She runs a yogurt manufacturing business at Tilekang in Punakha.
I am unable to hear and sense what is coming from behind and what people are talking about. I find myself rather dull. Even when I talk, I cannot speak clearly. I cannot do my business properly. But after surgery, today I can interact properly with anyone.
Doji, Sampel, Sangye, Sampel.
She said after the surgery, she attends rehabilitation training, which is provided by the audiologist at the National Referral Hospital twice a month. And this has helped her to interact with people.
After the cochlear implant and the day the doctor switched on the machine, I was able to hear the sound of water and people's voices. When I go outside, I can hear the vehicles' noises and birds chirping. Then from the next day onward, I was able to hear more words but unable to understand.
Similarly, 21-year-old Yishe Tsering from Tronsa, who underwent the surgery, said his life has improved.
Hema In the past, I need someone to accompany me wherever I go. It was difficult for me to understand when someone talked from behind. After the surgery, I can go anywhere on my own. I can even communicate on phone now.
According to doctors, the rehabilitation training, which includes speech therapy, is to make the patients get used to sounds.
Normally, after cochlear implant, on the 21st day, there is something called switch on, where we actually switch on the implant. So until that day, even after a successful implant, patients won't be able to hear anything. So once you switch on the implant on the 21st day, then they begin to hear the sound. But the sound that you hear through the cochlear implant is different from how we hear normally through our normal biological ears. So for that, we need to train the patient. So we need to make the patient getting used to the sound that is being heard through the cochlear implant.
다니 implant ki nale gomi gi chi di ngachi ki natural da raji ki ke da yawa me bezoni gi delu.
Auditory training is practiced to make the patients hear natural sounds that are received from the sound processor. It will be good to give a minimum of 2 sessions a week. But due to lack of human resources, we are providing training once a week. Likewise, we are giving mapping service once in 2 weeks.
Although the implant service is a life-changing hearing support, the sustainability of the service is a concern for National Referral Hospital as the implant is expensive. The cost of one implant is estimated to be around 800,000 neutrum.
The main challenge at the moment that we face is now how can we sustain this program, because cochlear implant project is a very important and has a huge impact for the beneficiaries. However, at the moment, it is still a costly intervention. If you consider the cost of the implant, each implant is costing almost around 8 lakhs neutrum.
During the second phase, which will happen in November, a few children will receive the implant. According to the National Referral Hospital, they hope to provide a similar kind of service to elderly people if there is a sufficient budget. The hospital had allocated 20 million neutrum for the 12th 5-year plan for the service. For Karmoandi, Namgyodem, PBS News.
A committee has been formed to investigate Attorney General Lungten Tupjur following a possible collusion between 2 suspended High Court justices, the Attorney General and a Queensland editor. Earlier this month, the judiciary suspended the 2 justices of the High Court for causing a deliberate miscarriage of justice in a case of drug smuggling and possession involving 2 defendants.
Soon after the judiciary issued a news release suspending 2 of its justices, the Prime Minister wrote to the Attorney General asking for an explanation about the case. The Attorney General then submitted an explanation to the Prime Minister, following which he submitted a letter of voluntary resignation. However, the resignation was not considered, and the Prime Minister's office, as per the Office of the Attorney General Act of Bhutan 2015, formed a committee for a proper hearing. The outcome of the committee's decision will determine the next course of action for the Attorney General. According to the Prime Minister's office, the committee can decide as soon as possible. As per Section 93 of the OAG Act, the Attorney General will be removed or will be required to resign if he or she is found violating the Code of Conduct and willfully violates any provision of law that substantially and adversely affects the interest of the office. The Act also states that the Attorney General should ensure that no conflict of interest arises between his official duties and private interests, financial or otherwise. According to the Prime Minister's office, the committee is independent and their names will not be revealed to prevent influence from the public. The PMO said additional information will not be shared until the committee makes their decision. Unless the present Attorney General is proven guilty, a new Attorney General will not be appointed. Sam Tendolkar, PBS News.
Much to the relief of the commuters and people in the east, the Kurikone Bridge in Mongar, which collapsed twice, will be reconstructed in 2 months. The Infrastructure and Transport Minister confirmed this, saying a modular bridge will be constructed this time. A modular bridge consists of prefabricated parts that can be installed quickly in the field. The bridge initially collapsed on 23rd May along with a dumper truck. It collapsed again in June after 2 weeks of its reconstruction.
Although the bridge might look similar to the older one, the materials and quality are going to be different. For the weight of the materials, it is not less than 50 metric tons, and we have already selected the materials. We have the budget and have already placed the order. According to experts, we can complete the construction in 2 months.
Now, if you have parcels coming in from abroad at the Bhutan Post Office in Thimphu, expect longer periods before getting your hands on the parcel. Delays in the dispatch of international parcels from the post office have led to growing frustration among the people. They say the use of the new Electronic Customs Management System, or ECMS, has made the parcel dispatch process complicated and lengthy.
The ECMS was introduced by the Department of Revenue and Customs to reduce cost and ensure a smoother and more efficient trade environment. The new system is currently being implemented across all 8 regional revenue and customs offices to streamline trade at the borders. However, the people who use the services of the post office to receive parcels from abroad are not happy with the long waiting periods to receive their parcels. One of the main complaints is the time it takes to collect parcels sent from abroad at the post office. People BBS talked to said that the ECMS has caused unnecessary delays and confusion when they go to the post office. The ECMS also requires taxpayer numbers or TPN numbers to process deliveries. However, for people who do not have taxpayer numbers, they say they are unable to collect parcels at the post office. The Department of Revenue and Customs said that they acknowledged the concerns. The department added that the ECMS is still in its initial stages of implementation and people would require time to get used to the new system. For those without taxpayer number, the department says that they can collect their parcels using their citizenship identity number. However, they need to have proof that they are not registered taxpayers. Meanwhile, officials from the Bhutan Post Office said, though the system was introduced with good intentions, the process of dispatching international parcels have been delayed. Earlier, the post office dispatched around 16 international parcels daily. With the introduction of the ECMS, only 3 to 4 international parcels are dispatched in a day. The Customs Department say that the current issue is temporary and that people will get used to the new system. Meanwhile, for those who rely on prompt and hassle-free deliveries, concerns still remain. With camera person Chimirinzin, Karamsam Tanwanda, PBS News.
The persistent unemployment issue, particularly youth unemployment, has been a growing concern in the country. However, a recent research by one of the employment officers in the country sheds light on a potential solution. The research emphasizes the importance of encouraging school-to-work transition programs to bridge the skills gap in the job market.
Purba Sonam, an employment officer with the Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Employment, based his findings and learnings from the 10th, 11th and 12th 5-year plans. Currently under review, the research recommends implementing the 3Ps framework, prepare, promote and place, as a comprehensive approach to address unemployment.
The 3P model can systematically address youth unemployment issues. And this logical 3P model is, like already mentioned, prepare, promote and place. Well, if we see today, we are more concentrated and the works and initiatives are more visible in terms of the last P portion, which is placement of job seekers here and there. So therefore, the very activities that we include in preparation, promotion of job seekers is also very equally important.
He also suggested introducing school-to-work transition programs, including apprenticeships, industry-based learning programs, and internships. He added that these programs would play a vital role in addressing unemployment. According to the National Statistics Bureau, the current unemployment rate in the country stands at 5.9%, with the youth unemployment rate at 28.6%. Tashyangdan, PBS News.
And that's it for this week. Do join us as we bring you more news and updates next week. Take care and goodbye.